Haha, almost fucked myself over that time. Hello and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, the monster manual of podcasts. My name is John Baltisberger.
I am Charles R. Bernard.
I am Ian Servas.
I'm Mr. Pashke.
And a fun little note for everyone. All of our audio is picking up, guys.
Right out of the gate.
There's no technical issues whatsoever. Wait, why are my eyes on fire? Son of a bitch, I don't have a webcam. Look. We are Wandering Monster, America's test table. And what sort of R&D bullshit would we be if we didn't have some sort of issue every single week? This week you get a double fistful of issues. With me not having a webcam and Mr. Pashke's spine missing. So we're doing a twofer.
Yeah.
It's a terrible twofer. But you know what? We carry on through all that because we are goddamn podcasting professionals and we fucking defy you. We defy you, cruel fate, to try and derail this comes out of the box derailed podcast. That's just part of our charm. But we don't need charm because we have a very exciting game we're going to be doing tonight. And maybe just a couple words about it and we'll get right into it.
So to begin with, a big thank you to the Melsonia Arts Council for allowing us to do this live play test of their newest book, which is The Ruinous Palace of Metegoros. It is ready as soon as the Kickstarter is completed. It's basically ready to ship because it was created during the plague times, and so it is ready for prime time. What's really unique about this module is that unlike the whimsical gonzo flair that accompanies most of Troika play, this is a more somber adventure that really pulls from strong mythopoetic tradition. So fans of Joseph Campbell or Young or contemporary like Edith Hamilton and whatnot, you will enjoy the book in its entirety. So
I just posted the link to the Kickstarter
Yes.
in our Steam, or not Steam, in the Twitch
the
chat.
stream.
So
Yes.
You can also find it on our Instagram or our Twitter right now.
Awesome.
Anywhere we've been advertising this stream, we've also been advertising the Kickstarter. So do be sure to be in on this ground level because it is fantastic and it deserves your money. The best thing about this is it's also convertible to BX/OSC. So if you are an OSR person and you are new to Troika or you're more familiar with a D&D perspective, there is a very easy conversion system. So you get a lot of bang for your buck.
And the last thing I'll say, this isn't like we don't do we don't currently do sponsorships and we don't do sponsored runs. So this is we're not getting any money from anyone. But
if something was paid for or sponsored, we would make it very clear.
Yeah. But what I want to say is that the art in the Melsonian Arts Council books,
the whole family of books,
incredible. All of their shit they're like art objects. So
I ordered one today.
We both have that one. Well, I think anyone who knows us and looks at their catalog will know exactly which books the two of us assholes ordered.
Yeah.
For people who haven't or don't already have a copy of Troika, or if you're new to Troika, it's a fantastic system. It's one of my favorites. There are copies available in that Ukraine fundraising bundle on itch, and if you want a physical copy right now, the spring sale at Melsonia is still live, correct, for 50% off books.
Yes.
Beautiful books. Definitely highly recommend it. And if I can sideline for a second, if you were a fan of fighting fantasy back in the day, which is kind of like the UK version of the Lone Wolf books or those like choose your own adventure style books, that's what was the chassis for this game. So if you have that nostalgia for those 80s and 90s play by yourself books, this will definitely ring familiar.
And what lonely 90s kid didn't?
I still have some of my choose your own adventure books. Wizard and Warriors, Top Secret, all the whole kit and caboodle.
Oh,
Absolutely.
lucky bastard.
So, speaking of lucky bastards, allow us to introduce our characters, what their dramatic personae are for this evening.
Well, I'll go ahead and start. I am Xenoc Beardwood. I am a Chaos champion. I've got some battered armor inscribed with obscure aquatic sigils and Uruborai, and I am a worshiper of the Canaanite chaos god Yam. And yeah, feel drawn to these ruins by this recurring series of extremely eerie, unsettling, and uncanny dreams I've been having. I feel both dread and desire pulling me in that direction.
Well, I am Shumpnellanacht, venerable bog wizard in service of the Frog Lord. I have been commanded by my deity to enter these ruins and sanctify it in their unholy and holy name. Holiness is not a binary. You see, it's a spectrum that we all exist upon.
I
For
like the
pe-
way he thinks.
For people who aren't familiar with the Troika core book, that class is the Fowler of Ponds, which is one of your many character archetypes.
I'm a frog priest. I'm a frog. I'm like a Newt man frog priest.
How tall are you?
I am not big.
Are you like frog sized or more like Yoda sized?
Okay, so my answer is that it would be super duper funny to be an actual Newt. But for this game, I was told that it's not a super silly game. I'm going to say he's probably like between 4'5" and 4'10".
Okay.
One other interjection from the GM here. One of the things that's really special about Troika and why I've been such a big fan of trying to get Troika on our stream is that the character archetypes are made in such a way that you yourself define what it means to be a blank.
Mhm.
So, for all intents and purposes, the most expert opinion on what it means to be the Fowler of Ponds is John himself. So he gets to define how big
Yeah,
he is.
I will say the way classes work in Troika is, in my opinion, one of the biggest draws to the system. It's enticing in all the right ways.
And then, last but certainly not least, we have
Reginald Hornsberry, which I've decided is like the name just instantly makes me think of Nigel Thornberry from the cartoon. What was it called?
The wild
Wild
thornberries?
Remember? Yeah, duh. Look, I'm not on pain meds, okay? let's not start to think for a second that my mind's not clouded and I might be a little
And
loopy.
thank you for the follow, whoever did that just now. We have a lot of first time viewers with us. We're excited to. It's going to be a weird one because we're used to just being jackasses, and Ian has told us I have to be at least somewhat serious. So, my old man
like
voice
our
is as
guests.
silly as it's going to get.
and then so Reginald is a
Is a rhino man, which wild thornberries, I mean, why would this not work, right? This is serious. I'm sorry, I'm with disadvantage on seriousness right now.
I just hope you're
I
wearing a
will not
pith
take the
helmet.
pod.
Like a
he-
rhino man with a pith helmet seems like
yeah.
Yeah,
If you look at your inventory, you do standardly come with a undersized hat, a useless undersized tiny hat, and an undersized spear.
I love that fucking spear.
Check your pregen; it's on there.
Yeah, I saw the undersized spear. I didn't see the
It's
hat.
it's in the
though.
first equipment
Where
slot.
is it? Tiny, useless helmet. Yeah. So, yes, I have a tiny, useless pith helmet. Can I have two of them just for funsies?
Hat on
a
Like,
hat.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely, it's always good to have a
Okay,
spare.
I'm sorry.
All right.
All right. So, without further ado, allow us to begin. So, the players have found themselves, each one of them have had a calling to this part of the world, somewhere that is lost and forgotten, but has an alluring call to it. Um, Shump has this feeling of being drawn to sanctify a pool in his god's names. Xenoc has these premonitions of some weird things of unknown provenance in an underground chamber. And Reginald is the muscle for hire to help escort to safety. Through researching rumors and lore, there was once a beautiful palace that stood proudly in the countryside and had a benevolent ruler, and some unknown catastrophe struck it. And the the palace itself is in shambles, which means that it's ripe for looting and exploration. So that is what has brought them here to the edge of where this palace is supposed to still stand, the piteous wood. Deeply green pine needles, almost black and almost blue, hang from drooping limbs. The mist isn't constant, but it comes frequently enough that nothing is dry. Even your very thick rhino legs are getting a little bit of a chafe from the constant moisture, Reginald. Beneath the wet, thick layers of needles, there is rich, wet, black soil waiting. The sky itself is deeply overcast, and you can hear the wind roaring through the trees. And the trees themselves seem almost to be shivering as if heaving from grief. Or perhaps maybe you are hearing some type of sounds of grief further into the wood. But there's this deep and abiding sadness that just seems to be radiating from everywhere. And if it weren't for the colorful, garb of Reginald, you'd probably think that everything that the color itself has been sucked from this place, as if everything is very much shades of dark grays and dark blues and so forth. But you can see that from the very thick layer of needles, there have been lots of footfalls across this like sea of pine needles, as if there's been numerous people or creatures that have been walking through here. And there's definitely some type of trail that leads northeast from here in kind of a meandering, snaking way.
Oh, well, that's cue to call upon Yam, the sneaking sign, the footprints. Obviously, I need to use my one of my advanced skills, which is secret sign. I call upon my deity. It's my once a day skill, and I'm rolling 1d6, right?
That's 2d6, and you're
Okay.
trying to roll um, under 2 or equal your total of your skill plus your advanced skill.
Okay, so that's 9 combined in my skill and advanced skill. Hang on a second.
Your sheet will have it automatically tabulated for it, I believe.
I'm trying to roll lower or higher.
You're trying to roll under 2 or equal. Under.
Yeah, I fucked that one up.
Well, you haven't really had much time to do the demanding rituals that Yom requires as you've been marching to this place. So you kind of hear the back of your mind that deep, brooding grumble that comes when you haven't done your faithful rituals. And you know that once you have time to do them properly, you're going to get an earful from Yom. And you're going
Yam
to
is
hear,
just.
worst of all, how disappointed he is in you.
Yam is wrathful but just.
Shump Shump raises a hand, allowing the feeling of the damp air to kind of sift through his finger pads. I can feel that this place is blessed. Blessed? But and he points to the trail that's been walked before. There are interlopers who may not enjoy the moist embrace of the true gods.
Non-believers. I should have known it. No wonder Yam is pissed off. This place is
Heretics.
beautiful. It's dark. It's wet. Everything's slippery. It feels right at home. There are interlopers. So I move my companion, my fellow servant of the gods, that we take our friend Reginald here. If Reginald has any input after our say, and maybe see where those tracks go.
Reginald, would you allow Shump to ride on your shoulder?
Smashing.
No, I figured this would have already come up since they've journeyed together. would have Reginald allowed this?
Just be mindful of the bows. They're like bowing inward because of just that sheer amount of moisture from the fog. So you might whack your head a couple times.
That's a blessing.
So, Reginald being a rhino man, I don't feel like you'd be too keen to this environment, but I'm just trying to debate myself. How much would he be willing to say? Because he did agree and sign off on this. So he's there under his own free will. I don't know. I'm sorry. Never mind. Scratch all that.
Hey,
Don't pay attention
you
to
have
me.
pride and dignity. You can say no. To carry someone on your shoulder it requires consent. If you
I
don't,
mean, he
Also,
would.
I'm thinking to my nature films, and maybe if Shub were to pick like ticks and parasites off you in exchange for the ride.
And I
Ooh,
will.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Okay.
All right. See, now we're in business.
nothing is
Yeah, I'm
worse
liking
than
that.
tree
It's-
leeches.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shump is amphibious. He will eat those things.
So as you are equivocating about the logistics of riding on one's shoulder or not, you hear in the distance the sound of like shunking or like the sound of metal against wood or stone kind of crashing almost rhythmically, somewhat like footfalls, and it seems to be coming due north.
Someone
Does anyone
defiles the
have some type
sacred
of
land.
perception advanced skill, or otherwise all of you roll me a skill roll to see if you're able to detect what might be approaching?
So
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm probably fucked too.
Yeah.
Yeah, real bad. Oh, actually, I just missed it by one.
I missed it by a bunch.
So
that
are you
was
saying that no
3d6?
one gets their roll?
Yeah, it was a perception
Roll.
check, basically.
right. So we're using the what? Sorry, I'm on a lot. I'm on 4
That's-
different
that's
kinds of.
I can
navigation.
explain it. So your
Okay.
your skill number, roll 2d6, add those numbers together, try to roll lower than your skill number, and that's essentially like a check for any of your skills or advanced skills. Actually, with advanced skills, you've also got to add the advanced skill number to that.
Right. So you're perfectly right. 2d6 trying to hit your skill total or lower. And basically, your advanced skill is a bonus to basically make that threshold a little bit larger. So in your case, you have gambling 1. So that is 1 that you add to your skill, and that's what you're trying to roll or under if you were trying to gamble someone, which who knows?
All
maybe
right, but
not
this isn't gambling. This is like I heard a thing, which
Yeah. So I'm
spear
saying if you
fighting
don't have
no,
an
running
appropriate.
no.
So if I'm saying if you don't have an advanced skill, then it's like you're basically just doing a skill check and you're not getting a bonus. Advanced.
So it would be the 6 number, in which I also rolled a 6.
All right,
That's a
so that
question I
means-
had. What about if you tie? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
if
it's
it meets,
equal
it
to or-
beats.
It's equal to or under. So that means if you got exactly your skill, then you success. So
Nice.
Reginald, your mercenary skills helps you to pinpoint some distant movement in the front, and you see a figure wearing hoplite armor, kind of like almost like ancient Greek armor, advancing slowly. Their skin is pale as old water-washed granite or limestone, and they are just beelining in your direction. Each of their footfalls makes the flaps on the girdle on their armor clap loudly against their skin.
Making it clap.
You are pretty sure you're hearing something else, like muttering or moaning.
Nice.
Mm.
All right. So did everyone else see that as well, or do we need to point it out to them? Or
That's all on you, Reginald.
Yeah, I didn't
well,
see
I
shit.
say that there appears to be a gray boy with flappy pants coming towards us, or not such pants, but scat.
Luckily,
The flappy pants man must die.
luckily, I just
Maybe.
so happened to bring my heavy maul along on this venture. So, should our little friend
Smashing.
over there, exactly, should he
Um,
i- intend us ill, I am not too worried about it. But
does
should
he look like he intends us? Like, does he look
he's
now that he has
beelining
been
it.
pointed out? Does he look like he intends ill? Like you say, he's beelining for us, but does he have the air of someone that's like, "Hey, you kids," or does he have the look of someone that's like, "Hey, you motherfucking kids"?
That's
He
a
ended
great.
up.
That's a great question, Shump. Why don't you roll me d6?
Okay, that would be a 3.
It when you look at this figure, as it gets closer, it seems to have a pretty almost like flat affect at first, or at least it's unmoving. And as it gets closer and closer, you see that it's not blinking. Maybe it's a man. It's uncertain, but its face is kind of permanently contorted in the look that's in between sadness and anger. It is now
I
just
know that. I know
a
that
couple
feeling.
of what?
I said, I know that feeling.
Um, it seems to be saying one word over and over: alone, alone, alone. It's just coming towards you. It doesn't have any weapons, but its hands are balled into fists.
I'm going to cast web.
Ooh, good call.
All right, so that's treated as an advanced skill. So
Mhm.
subtract your stamina for casting it, and let's see if you are successful.
Okay. I am right on.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
okay.
That means successful, so it needs to cast there. All right, hold up here. Um, then so you cast web on it, and you exude this noxious fluid from your arms that
From my
turns
spoon,
into.
from my ladle wand.
Say again.
I have a ladle wand
Ah,
thing.
even
I'm
even
using it
better.
as look. It's about the size of a staff for me, and yeah, it just shoots the web out the ladle part.
Um, so you cast the spell, and the creature just parts through it. It sticks to its face, but it doesn't change its expression at all. And as it's saying the word "oh," its mouth is full of webs. Right? It's just getting stuck.
Oh, that's
So it
gross.
closes on you, and it seems like it wants something from you, but is willing to get it by force. So we're going to engage into combat here, as it menaces right in front of Reginald. So start of the round, we have Reginald. So your mercenary reflexes gives you the drop on this character, or on this figure. If you weren't, you know, if you weren't probably under the haze of drugs, you'd probably think that this thing is almost like a zombie, but almost like a zombie made of stone or ash. Otherwise, it's giving you the creeps. So, since I know you're new to Troika, you can attack it if you want, which is rolling 2d6, and you're adding your spear fighting skill, and you're wanting to
Yes.
beat its contested roll. So I know before I said you roll up under. In combat, you want to roll higher.
Okay.
That is if you want to attack it, or you can do other actions if you want. You can even delay.
No, I think you can't force your friendship onto me. I know you've been alone, but you will continue to be alone if you act this way. And then ready my spear to stab him in the face. To
Oh.
then roll to the face, right?
Yes.
Face is a good place to stab.
I like stabbing to the face, but my dice might not. So that's 3 on my dice plus my rank 3 plus skill. So 9? Am I adding the 9?
Yes.
All right, so 9 plus 3 is 13 to the spear to the face with my short little spear.
So you shove your spear out, and it seems to have some type of militaristic training. It almost makes like a bark, as if like responding to like a drill sergeant, and it turns definitely out of the way, and your spear goes over its shoulder, snagging some of that webbing material. It turns and it lands. It throws its fist right towards your face, and it hits you square in the horn for 2 points of damage. So that's 2 points taken away from your stamina, and it stings. Next in initiative is Shump. So your web didn't seem to have an effect. They just walked right through it without being impeded. What will you do?
So considering he looks like he's made of stone, I don't think I'm going to try to drown him. Instead, I'm going to smack him right. Like he just launched an attack on my steed. So I'm going to kind of lean over from my perch and swing my ladle at the thing's head. My ladle ignores 1 point of armor. And that is a 6.
Total?
That is what I rolled. 6, yes.
6 plus your advanced skill, or your skill, or if you have an advanced skill, like if you have like ladle fighting.
That'd be amazing, but no. So it's a 12.
12. So you, as it has punched Reginald in the face, it leaves its flank open, and you're able to connect with your ladle, making a very loud, stony crack sound. So roll that d6 damage and compare it to your matrix damage chart.
Okay. Oh, not bad.
Ooh.
That's 6 points of damage.
Dyson has joined us. That's awesome. And really, I just checked out the thread. Yes, in the face. All right.
the face.
What damage did you do?
I did 6 points. Plus, I ignore one. I ignore 1 point of armor.
For reminding me on that. So you crack it, and by crack I mean your ladle has literally put a crack down its face. You have a feeling that its chin would probably would fall off if it wasn't already held in place with that webbing, and through some of its teeth falling out, it again just wails the word alone.
No.
Next in initiative is the creature itself. It turns to you, Shump, and it throws one of these stony fists. So you're rolling either your attack skill and trying to beat it, or if you have an evasive skill, you can use that instead. So you pick what is the best thing for you in this instance, and we resolve it that way.
All right.
And I have been rolling insanely high lately. So
I rolled under my skill.
So you're rolling 2d6 and then adding your skill.
Oh, all right, 10.
So whenever you're doing versus,
I'm so
you're rolling
confused.
more. If you're doing it by yourself, you're rolling under.
Okay.
And
I'll try to
for
remember.
those of you listening at home, in the full Troika rules, it's referred to as rolling versus and rolling under, which I find to be a helpful distinction.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
when you're
that makes
rolling
sense.
versus an opponent, you try to go over. When you're rolling under, you're rolling under, and that's more of a skill check.
Okay.
So what was your total there, Shump?
10.
So that is not good enough. You have swung and hyperextended yourself just enough where it turns around, pivots, and punches you square in the face. So it punches you out for just 2 points of damage, but you feel that it is stone cold, as if this is almost made of stone itself.
As cold as ice.
Next in initiative is Shump.
All right. Well, I hated that. Unfortunately, my second sight probably isn't going to do me a whole lot of good right now.
Oh, you hate? You know what? Troika rewards people with creative thinking.
Well, yeah, I want to see if there's... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use my second sight to see if there is anything, any weak point, any cracks in the proverbial armor that we could exploit.
All right. Roll.
So that is, I'm rolling under since this is a skill.
Yes, correct. Equal to or
There we
under
go.
your.
All right, 1 point under.
All right. So with your eyes rolling back to expose your wizardy eyes, you've got this nictitating membranes that kind of go over like frogs do. You see that this thing is really a fossilized husk, that it is an undead creature of some kind. It's like an undying corpse, as if you have fossilized a zombie, and that's what this thing is. It radiates pure sorrow and longing, and it desperately wants, it needs something. You can feel it pulling at you like a black hole.
Okay.
You know that you can destroy this thing through physical means, but there is probably something that would sate its undying hunger.
Does it actually want friendship? I was joking earlier about that, but it sounds like he might actually want friendship.
So next at initiative, so that's the end of the round. For people who are new to Troika, I'm assuming that most people probably haven't played Troika. It is very much like Rise of Augustus or other games. Your players have tokens in a sack or cards in a stack that's randomized, so you never know how many actions a player gets. Our poor Chaos Champion here didn't even get a single action this round.
Whereas I got two.
Mulling over his god's disappointment. Shump, so you have that insight, and you get the start of this round.
Oh,
I know the deck, the randomizing turn order says it's Shump again.
Shump is again.
You can also delay your action if you want.
You know what? I'm going to. Man, okay. I'm going to.
Shump, you notice as you're thinking in the distance, coming from the northeast, you see another one of these zombies, for lack of better words, wearing only a beaten bishop's mitre. You hear it also muttering something in the distance, and it shambles in a very slow, awkward amble. What were you going to do?
I'm going to leap from Reginald's shoulder onto the zombie thing, and I'm going to stroke its chin and say, there.
Do you mean it?
Give me 1 second. Yeah, I think I like.
Like,
Yes.
do you genuinely care, or are you more of like, what can I do to shut this thing up?
Well, if you consider Shump, like, I think the undead especially are a anathema to Bog Priest. Like, this thing should have returned to the mire and decayed. Like, it has to be painful to keep living when you should have been returned to like the natural order of life.
So the real question is, just like in a video game, truth or lie, do you mean your affection?
I do.
So you leap onto its shoulder, and you feel that the web that you've cast like stick to your skin, and you lovingly wipe it off of its face, and you coo in its ear. What was your effect there?
Yeah, they're there.
You feel all the tension in its rigid form relax a bit, as if stone itself could be elastic or it could relax. And it is slack jawed for a second. Another tooth kind of falls out from where you smacked it with the ladle, but it smiles, and it just stands for a second, and it reaches up and lovingly strokes you.
Good.
It stopped its moaning.
I continue to kind of give it gentle pats and encouragement.
So it seems to be diffused, and it no longer seems to have a menacing air about it. It seems like it's treating you almost like a lost puppy that is now happy that it's been found. Although the one that's coming towards you with a crumpled miner's hat is also crying loudly as it advances. It's just saying the word, "Oh, mother!"
Hmm.
Oh, who's the most motherly of the group?
I think I got this one. If I have a chance, like, so are we out of battle now?
I'm going to speak to my constituents.
These these poor creatures are cast away from the natural cycle of life. We must give them what they seek so that they may be at peace in return and also not beat us up.
I happen to have
Win-win.
my good friend Shub
Shump.
Shump. I think I got this one. I am going to cast languages. So that's like a
So
under
you
for a
treat it
skill
just
check,
like you
right?
would an advanced skill.
Mhm.
So you take your initial stamina damage from that, which is just 1 point.
Mm-hmm. I rolled a 4 and a 5, which is 9. And this is an advanced skill, so that means I add 1 to my skill, which would bring it to 9. I got it.
All right.
Got it this
Nice.
time.
So you approach the.
Wait. Hang on. It's very specific about how I have to do this in the text. So just a second. Let me get warmed up. All right. I
I'm just
approached
want to know
him.
if you're applying this on the zombie that you've just now appeased, or to that one who's getting more and closer, the one with the crumpled miner's hat.
The one with the crumpled miner's hat. And by holding one hand up, I can also understand languages, but I have to do this to speak it. And I say, please, can we help you with your problems? What can we give you? What can we help you with?
Mother no longer loves me, and just starts to cry profusely. He takes the hat off of his head and just cries ashamedly into it that it could capture all of his tears.
Aw. Come on over here, man. Like, let me talk about it. Let's talk about it. I have
Uh,
issues with my own mother. I mean, sure.
Now, same question posed to you. Do you mean your
I
affection?
absolutely mean it. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Part
your
of part of being chaos clergy is learning compassion.
well, that compassion comes through, and you almost have a feeling that you perhaps maybe in another life you shared the same God, or
Mm.
maybe you could perhaps someday discuss ecumenical issues with a person. You really don't get much of a clue to what their faith was from their hacks. It's so decayed and crumpled, but you feel a kindred soul in this. Like the other one, it also treats you like a lost puppy. They seem to have genuine regard about you, and it also
All right.
too smiles, and it smiles so hard that like its rock hard face cracks at the corners.
Well, I'm getting to that age myself. I'm just gonna give him a hug. So we've made 2 new friends, guys. I feel really positive about this.
Can we stop the game
Yay.
here? Like, we've made 2 friends. I feel like we've succeeded where most 30-year-olds have failed. Like, this adventure's a success in John's book.
Um, so it is. It is interesting because as you go through the piteous wood with your new friends, even though the sky is still overcast and it has these little intermittent showers that soak you to the bone, you do feel like you have something of value here as your friends follow you.
Hmm.
There are more of these zombies that you run into that also have this abject sorrow, and now that you've known that they just need unconditional acceptance, you grant that to them. Some of them say words like love or lonely or forgotten, but you bring them solace. um, you even run into one dwarf who seems to be singing a funeral dirge in his native tongue, who also is softened by your affection.
Haunting.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of funny. I'm like, there's even like a Tolkien-esque song here. I was like, how should I sing this if I get stuck in a situation I actually have to sing the dirge?
Oh, you absolutely do.
Hey, I
Yeah,
mean, I did the
Wandering Monster
talking hand
karaoke,
thing.
go.
Yeah.
If because it's
If you
unless someone speaks
subscribe,
dwarf, if you ask your languages, I will attempt to butcher
No,
a
it's
dwarven
okay.
funeral dirge.
It's all right. It's all right.
Was it a over or under? Because I either got a -20 or a +6.
I misheard you, Ian, and heard Mormon funeral dirge. And I was like, this is a weird Troika game now.
Heavy on
Tell you
Latter-day
what,
Saint content. Yeah.
audience, if you want to hear Ian sing dwarven funeral dirges, and let's be honest, you do,
Yeah.
subscribe to our
We all do.
channel, give us a like, do all these things, and once we
And we'll-
run our own Kickstarters, we'll put together a full EP of Ian Servas's dwarven funeral dirges.
We will perform for you like trained dolphins. We have no pride
well,
whatsoever.
not dolphins, not with that one
No,
lady.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Did I actually tell that story on the
On
pod?
air, you motherfucker. Okay, so yeah, we go through the pitiful forest. Shump doesn't talk that.
Oh,
I feel that this place.
I should make just one quick interjection that apparently there are storms rolling through my area. So in case I lose power, I will be back on because my router, if I can hotspot,
Right.
the router goes out, it'll be a little funky. So
No,
using
we'll
the power
sing,
grid is good, but
we'll sing dirges until you get back.
all right.
That's right.
Well, see,
Word.
no one has requested dirges, so I will hold the dirge until formally requested. But
Shump nods to his compatriots.
We must be careful to manage our own feelings. I feel this place preys upon.
Oh my god, I had the word, it was right there.
Sadness?
Insecurity.
I think that you're absolutely right. And
The Frog
fortunately,
Lord allows no insecurity.
neither does Yom. We're on the same page. I give all my
Your men,
insecurity
Frog
unto
Lord, the
chaos
very
serpent.
best friends.
so as you continuously follow, as you learn bits and pieces from the broken languages from these zombies, you get a little bit of insight into what happened to them to turn this into the state. All of them, through their broken speech, communicate seeing snakes and then being turned to stone. The man in the hoplite armor uses the word Medusa. But there's some other words that people say, like something sounds like the word Metegoros, or you hear someone say the word Gorgon or Gorgos, but they all seem to have crossed something that petrified them. And worse than anything, the thing that made them into stone was horrified by them and rejected them and cast them out as these undead things. This is again all through very broken communication, so perhaps something is lost in translation, but all of them report the loss that they had and loneliness until you unconditionally accepted them. But they do show you the way to the ruins. I'm assuming all of you've kind of spoken about why you're here, and they lovingly guide you through the forest, helping you avoid the perilous deadfalls and the areas where the needles are stacked so high that you could fall in it like quicksand. And they take you to the edge of the piteous wood, but dare to go no further, as all of them say the same word, worm. I will have you, John, put up picture number 1.
Picture number 1 is here. It's
So
upstairs in a
at
big
the edge of the
dragon.
clearing, you can see the ruinous palace, and the word ruin is, well, accurate. It's not even a palace anymore. It's a heap of mangled stone, as if
As
a
it
large
should be.
and fantastic palace had been collapsed upon itself,
Oh,
leaving
so beautiful.
only a large set of stairs going up to the frame of a wall and a doorway that seems to basically almost enter into the pile of stones.
Late stage capitalism, am I right, guys?
Wrapped.
I feel right at home. This is a Chaos Champions this is my home away from home basically. I love it. I'm going to take a minute and just sort of like drink in the ambiance before we continue on our way.
Well, speaking of yambiance, the thing that is most interesting about this is that wrapped around the ruins is a giant obsidian worm. Its head cocked
Nice.
to the right of the stairs, and it appears to be sleeping. You hear a snoring sound coming from its snout.
I'm afraid that my two companions are going to have to wait for a moment, because Xenoc just falls right to his knees and begins like openly prostrating himself in worship of this.
Frog, damn, is that your god?
No, no, but a mighty avatar thereof, truly one of Yam's chosen, and of one of Yam's chosen races, the worms. So I am
I was
very,
hoping you meant
very
night
like
crawlers.
impressed.
Delicious things.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Are you using your parcel tongue, your serpent speech to in your communication with it?
Yeah, I think I'm actually, yeah, I'm going to use languages again. So let me.
Oh, wait, are you using languages, or are you going to be using your secret word ability?
Oh, I didn't see that. So yeah, I'll use secret word.
Or you know, as if you were summoning your
I can only
secret
do that
sign.
once a
That's what I
day.
meant to say.
I can only do that once a day, and regrettably, I blew my proverbial wad right at the beginning of this session,
No,
trying to read
technically
that
that was
stupid
Shump.
fucking trip.
No,
Oh,
no, it wasn't.
no,
Um,
no, it was me. I failed, remember, and Yam is displeased.
So wait, I'm the only one here that hasn't blown their wad yet.
No, I still have my wad.
I
Okay.
might be the only one who did. Yeah, no, regrettably, like, yeah, I've already used my one, like, call upon a deity, so I'm just gonna have to go with languages, which, let's hope, let's see, what we got. 3 plus 1 is 4. Yeah, yeah, totally. I absolutely uh pass that check, and thus get to do my little puppet show again. And so I'm going to begin in a worshipful, like basically a chaos canticle. It's kind of a song to Yam. I'm like the dwarven dirge, not going to perform it here, but
Yum 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 yum
yeah, yeah,
yum
yeah.
Moran.
That's
Yum
right.
yum yum.
Um,
Yum 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 yum
okay,
yum.
cool.
Yum.
All right.
Yum, yum,
And
yum.
at the triumphant and catchy chorus of my song, I then address the worm, and
All
I
you.
say,
You
great
did it.
one, most worshipful child of my beloved chaos serpent, goddess of the seas. We wish to pass within the boundaries of this place for holy purposes. And that's pretty much the end of my spiel.
It opens one eye, a milky yellow eye, as it stirs from its slumber slowly, and it blinks and considers you as you intone the words of Yam. It at first seems confused, but it is very much curious by your petition, and it recognizes that you don't fear it, but you venerate it, which is unusual. It's seems to be used to taking life and not being worshipped. So it is very, well, perplexed at first. And you see it softening as it's going through its emotions, and as you're singing your psalms, it softens, and in its this deep voice that sounds like obsidian shards grinding against itself, it intones to you, "Thou my art entered, but do not harm Metegoros, or I will consume you wholesale."
And I respond, absolutely not. For the mother of snakes, the mother of serpents is most sacred to Yom. In we go, I guess.
Um,
Did Reginald and I understand what the worm spake?
no, that's all going to be that you don't have that ability, so you don't
Okay.
We
have.
just heard a garbage disposal with a bunch of eggshells and coffee grounds in
Yeah,
it.
Hang on,
I
I'll tell you what he said.
I thought I was having a
I
stroke.
I
so-
will I will relay the worm's message to my companions as it, like, kind of unbars the way I imagine. And I will add at the end that, like, we will not, it's not a question. I'm like, we will not harm the Metagorgos while we are in here, for she is beloved of my god, and show some respect.
So,
It's not so much a like fuck that bitch kind of face that Shump makes. It's more of a ooh, snakes and frogs not like super cool with each other.
Hadn't even occurred to me.
Super
Okay, so
usually enjoy eating one another.
I got your back on this one. I will make sure that none of my friends get consumed, as long as they don't fuck with the Metagorgos.
Okay, I can live and let live.
Perfectly
Especially with-
natural fear, and I can understand it.
All right, we'll
Rhinoceri
Rhinos.
tend to be less of a prey animal, but
rhinos love eating snakes. I just made that up, but
I mean, a nice rotisserie. You skewer the steak through the spinal cage, just acts as a
fun
guide.
side
really.
note about rhinos, they have horrendously bad eyesight and will often do things like charge butterflies because all they really see is like, oh shit, something's moving. Charge, 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 charge.
hey, some people
Great.
tilt at windmills, some people tilt at butterflies.
So I've always really loved that fact about rhinos.
yeah.
Well, I can't say if there's any butterflies or not inside the ruins here.
I believe that's our GM telling us to get the fuck inside and stop
Yeah.
vaping. I don't know what the vamping is the word I'm looking for.
Vamping, yeah.
So it's been a good number of hours since you first came to this place through your trips through the woods. You can see that the dark, overcast sky is getting darker as night is beginning to approach. The worm has uncoiled itself to let you walk unmolested up the stairs. What are you doing?
No, I'll tell you what
Um,
we're doing so far is we're playing the pacifist option on fucking Ruinous Castle.
Unlike all the other games we've ran so
Yeah.
far, where it's just like, I murder the secretary. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Just with a
I-
meat cleaver. Like, oh no,
I
he
tend
tenderized it.
to. My wife and daughter tend to call me Stabberger
Yeah,
because
yeah.
my option generally I like look at situations like, okay, well, how fast can I take this to the nuclear option?
Yeah. Like,
And
how many
tonight
knives does this problem need?
you know what? As a chef and as a director, that question was very pertinent most of the time. But yeah, I'm a priest of like life, it's swampy life, but I'm a priest of life, so it just makes sense to be like, okay, yeah, I want to sanctify this place not in blood, but in glorious mire.
Which I have little doubt that a child of Yam, the serpent goddess, will have a problem with. It'll probably be like an improvement to the decor.
Yeah, we're all on board here.
Yeah,
Everyone loves swamp rhinos.
I mean, I don't know if they live in swamps. I don't know shit. just in general.
I'm sorry, Ian. We're inside. We're not.
And
We're
we're
not.
discussing you like you're not even there. We're just
I mean,
we're big
yeah.
timing you.
So you are going to be entering the ruins then?
Yes.
Yes,
right.
Yes, we
absolutely.
are.
So you climb up the stairs, and you see that um, the inside looks more like a yawning tomb than anything else. These stairs are worn and jagged, and they lead up to this empty frame that you could see at one point must have held a quite magnificent door. There's a malachite facade that is chipped away, leaving just piles of pale green gravel underneath your feet. And the bricks around the entranceway stick out luridly like a tilting drunk. From inside the space is a haunting smell of vanilla juxtaposed with old decay and something almost fecal or enteric in the distant. It's super dark inside. You can see the fading daylight penetrating a little bit inward, but it is pretty dark from at least the outside.
I have a lantern and a flask of oil. So I will go ahead and light that sucker. Do I have to pass a check for that or something?
No, so you light
See,
it,
set myself on
and you
fire.
get a little bit of a cheery flame, and you can see a little bit from outside the door frame. Inside this entrance hall, you can see that it's partially collapsed. There's a support beam that runs diagonal across the room. Within the door frame to the right, there is a large amphora that stands in the and about halfway up the west side of the hall, there looks to be like a hole in the floor, and there's a weird pile of rubble towards the back center of this room. Um, Maybe some collapsed exits to this place in the back. You're not quite sure. Who's going in first?
Um, unless my chaos champion wants to, I will probably take the lead simply because I am anxious to bless the place.
I'll come right behind him with the lantern so that he can see where he's going.
And Reginald and Reard.
Yeah, I also have a lantern if that's worth mentioning.
Oh,
We
cool.
know how to use our protection.
Do you light your lantern?
Yes.
All right.
More light the better.
So, Xenoc and Reginald, when you walk through the entranceway, there's a whoomph, and your lanterns go out
Nice.
as soon as you go through the door.
No, I lit my
What?
lantern. It shouldn't go out. I lit it.
You
It
gonna-
shouldn't go out. I
Are
disagree.
you going to relight it?
He's fucking with you.
Yeah, I want to
Ian.
relight it.
No. I mean,
I will
it
relight it.
doesn't
Yeah.
catch. Like it's your wick is completely saturated in oil. It does not relight.
Oh, neat.
I flooded it.
it's a car joke, and I enjoyed it.
I didn't actually hear it. So the three of you are in this receiving hall or this entrance hall, and you see this kind of things that I mentioned before, an amphora in a corner, a hole in the floor on one side, some weird pile of rubble. In the back northeast corner of the room, there looks to be a staircase descending deeper into the ruins, and along the walls are just collapsed, caved in exits for rooms that have collapsed a long time ago.
So we have a choice of stairway or hole, I think. Generally, I would prefer a stairway.
I'm going to utilize my second sight again, Ian.
All right. So for
Oh.
people who aren't aware, second sight is like wizard vision. Lets you see. It's basically like tech magic.
And I rolled 1 under.
So, are you panning across the whole room?
I'm kind of just soft eyeing and turning in a circle, looking up and down, I'm not looking for anything in particular. I'm letting my shump my shump reflexes kind of try to catch whatever it can sense.
So the amphora in the corner of the room radiates intense, almost like electromagnetic energy,
Okay.
very intense spectra. There's something funky down in the hole that you can't quite put your finger on, but it is revolting. Maybe
Nice.
you're not sure. Something weird.
Revolting to me.
See, that is actually a genuine question. It is fetid.
I mean, yeah, that sounds right up my alley.
It seems like home. And towards the pile of rubble, you get some type of petrification magic feeling.
Okay. That might be
And now you've got since you're in here, your wizard vision in general, you detect strong, intense, divine retribution. Like the whole place is saturated with the wrath of gods, so much that it makes your eyes water and you tremble in your bones to feel such powerful divine hatred.
Do I sense the slimy touch of my own patron?
No.
Okay.
If anything, that's the worst part of it all.
Yeah, man.
Do you communicate any of this to your compatriots?
Yeah, I will kind of explain, like, I kind of haphazardly say, like, yeah, there's some like fucked up shit there. There's some like bad juju here. This place has been cursed by gods, but not our gods. Our gods have told us to come here, which means those other gods need to fuck right off. In my
not only
opinion.
that, I think that we might be here to fix whatever they fucked up, or if not fix it, at least expunge the aura of divine wrath that is just really gross. I mean,
whatever terrible, free whatever victim is suffering under the terrible curse of unjust gods, and bring them to the light of our extremely just gods.
Just and kind of chaotic and slimy. Yeah.
Yes. And if you don't mind me hogging the spotlight for another second, I'm going to move over to. I need to try to find a spell real quick to see what one of my spells does. I'm going to move over to the fetid area, Ian, and while I'm looking this up, y'all can do whatever you're going to do while I kind of chant and pray over the slime.
So Reginald, your lamp is out and you can't seem to relight it. Your feeble rhino eyes are having a difficult time in this preternatural gloom. What do you want to investigate, or what do you do?
Well, if we're going with actual rhino canon that my eyes suck, how is my nose? Can I give a sniff?
Hey, you tell me what it means to be a rhino man. You can correct me. Maybe your eyes are perfectly fine. Rhino men in this universe were blasphemous creations by an evil wizard. So you could have hypersenses if you think that that's appropriate. So. According to the chat, there are butterflies everywhere.
Oh, shit.
Our viewers are always correct.
Oh no.
Well, this is embarrassing because if I wasn't on edge before, now.
Oh God, the drugs are kicking in.
Golly.
I smell
They've been
toast.
kicked in all day.
So what would you like to do, Reginald? There's no wrong answer here.
I don't have a good answer right now. I'm sorry,
Oh,
guys. I am not at my A
I
game.
wanted to make sure that you felt like you had agency. If you want to be in the back seat, by all means.
Yeah.
I mean, so Reginald, I've been traveling with you guys for a while. Is this my god that you're trying to, or am I just a hired goon that you guys brought along for like carrying around a bunch of beer?
I
Well,
will
my character
say
has.
that I don't know about Yam, but I would have been trying to convert you to the worship of the Frog Lord the entire time.
I would have been like on the if he's the bad cop, I would have been the good cop of trying to convert him to my religion the whole way. But if he didn't, like, if he has his own beliefs, that's fine. He was hired, like, okay, let's say evil curse from a wizard created his type is definitely a plus on the job application. So but no, I'd say like that Pashki gets to make up his own mind about what his character's beliefs are.
Well, now I have to question whether I'm evil or not because I was created by an evil wizard. Okay.
Uh,
Right, so question
All
mark evil. I want to hold off in the back.
all right.
I'm taking too much time.
And that is a good
Never mind
point.
me.
Our
Paychecks
snail
are good.
viewer has reminded us that you have a half firkin full of rhino beer, which is another reason why it's a
Ooh.
perfect character.
Yeah, I
for you.
do. Yeah, I pour some
Ah,
around
yes.
the beers.
Most excellent.
Uh,
Yam approves.
so it has that distinctive flavor of yarrow and rhino horn that is makes rhino beer so delicious.
Is it an aphrodisiac? Do we just get like ready to go?
It depends. Is it that keg original? Did you get it mixed up again?
I'm just saying. I know
yeah.
unicorn does it. I don't know about rhino horn.
All right. So, Reginald, you said you were going to the back of the room pouring beers. So, Xenoc, what are you doing while Shump is preparing spells?
Well, I'm assuming that with the fading light of the day and the darkness and the lamps and so forth, like, I can't see shit. I just have like
It's
regular.
getting more difficult. You know that
Yeah.
in the next hour you'll be almost in inky darkness in this room.
Yeah.
You notice that
So-
there is a weird glowing coming from the amphora. The darker it's getting in here, the brighter it's getting.
Oh.
That Shump is staring into is very dark.
Okay, so the amphora might be like a glow in the dark type of situation, but I wonder how it would feel about us just like savaging it for, leafy sort of torches that glow in the dark. I also really want a glow in the dark plant now that I'm thinking about it. I know that some fungi glow in the dark.
My spell is ready.
Ah, okay.
All right. What spell are you casting?
Well, I don't know how wet, wild, and loose I can play with spell work.
Try me.
Well, I have a spell called Drown. Now, mechanically speaking, what the spell does is fill the target's lungs with air. Or, sorry, with water. Filling it with air would be very weird. What I would like to do is essentially cast it on a space, a wet space, a fetid water space, to slowly but steadily increase the moist, fetid water levels.
So I think that that's perfectly fine. I think the difference is just going to be summoning a couple cubic feet of water because that's basically what you're doing when you're drowning some of the spell. So it's going to be like a almost zero level cantrip from a D&D like game of creating, I don't know, let's say somewhere between 2 to 4 gallons of water, I'd say, as a starter. How about we'll do 1d6. You'll make 1d6 gallons worth of water.
I'm going to essentially channel this.
I just realized that we have a UK following, and here I am using imperial measurements. So I
How
apologize.
But I am going to essentially channel this,
Okay.
if that's a thing. And obviously sacrificing life as I channel it. What I'm intending to do to kind of explain my thought process is increasing the foothold the Frog Lord and Yom have in this place.
Okay.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
As you are leaning over this hole, you are smacked in the face with a very strong shit smell. Literally out of the book, shit smell. It is extremely fecal and enteric. And are you looking in deeply before you cast your spell, or are you blindly channeling your god?
I'm blindly channeling my god.
So did you go ahead and cast? Did you make your roll?
I will make it now.
I'm hoping someone's spellcasting today will fail because
I apologize because my drown spell is at a 9 and I rolled a 9. So
that's fine. At some
I'm
point,
sorry,
I would
I'm
love
so
to
sorry.
see an arcane failure because it is fantastic.
It really is.
So you intone the sacred words of the swamp, and you just start to vomit gouts of swampy water into this hole.
Cool.
Is that complete with
Splashing
like
loudly.
moss and algae and like snails and leeches?
Absolutely.
Nothing hard. You're all
Sometimes the
good,
leeches
baby.
don't want to let go, but you have to shake pretty hard. Roll me 1d6. How many gallons did you release?
Just one.
Puking up leeches
Did you want
is
to
no
test
problem.
luck to release more water?
Why not? I'll test
So
luck.
after you make your check, you subtract 1 from your luck.
Right. Let me do that. Do that and reduce my stamina as well while I'm here. And now what do I do?
You don't want to puke up. Is
Just
Captain
re-roll.
Crunch.
So you test your luck like you would a skill. And if you pass,
I passed.
all right. Roll me another d6.
And that is 3. So
4 gallons of blessed swampy water into the hole with all of the nice crunchy bits. As you are vomiting, you are hearing something thrashing below, but you can't stop vomiting as like there's definitely a snail halfway stuck in your throat and you have to get it out.
I've been here before, guys.
You see through a little bit of the light in the space that these things are picture number 4, John.
Picture number 4.
Oh
God.
There's some type of excreta demons that propel themselves on flagella, moving in awkward sine wave motion that are floating up towards you. They have this horrible smell of an latrine in midsummer that has not been cleaned out in many seasons. These bulbous eyes stick out and they fly at you.
One-eyed monsters.
I'm going to gesture to my fellows, like pointing the hole as I back up, but keep vomiting.
Yeah, I would think so.
So your vomiting will actually keep them at bay for 1 turn, as all of your compatriots get a reaction before we initiate in combat. So
just like reality,
maybe you're barfing up more water. So in no particular order, Xenoc, you hear barfing and then wild gesticulation as there are things coming out of the hole.
They do look snake-like, so I'm like tempted not to engage them in combat, but they do appear to be directly assaulting my froggy little friend.
They're definitely not snake-like. Maybe that line art makes it look like that. These look for anyone who has microbiology as an advanced skill, you would clearly identify that these are like cholera bacterium
Ah,
macromagnified. So
well,
those
it's
are the
fucking
flagella
heavy.
propellant.
Yeah, it's heavy ball time then. My just for a touch of whimsy, since my character is mostly
Uh,
straightforward, what with the
yeah,
armor and so forth. My heavy maul is just a cast iron croquet mallet, like a big one. So I'm just gonna haul off and like have at the nearest one to me,
all right,
and
fantastic.
initiate combat.
And absolutely, yes, Tony, we are playing in Troika. We've done some other OSR like things, so it's a perfect opportunity to do Troika. So you are moving position to attack. Is it free action, Reginald? Is there anything you're wanting to do, or are you still consuming your rhino beer?
I mean, the smell, I think the Rhino beer is either going to aid with or make worse. So, yeah, I would probably, if we're going to attack, my player idea is joining the attack. Yes, yes, I joined the attack with my short
Little
All
bitty
right.
spear.
spear,
So we'll just go ahead and
tiny. It's like a cocktail
so
spear.
you also move in position, and then lastly, as you are just about finishing vomiting up that swamp water, Shump, any small actions that you want to take before we fully launch into combat?
That's you, John.
Shump. All right, Shump.
Sorry,
Is it
I
Chump
muted
muted?
myself as I was moving around in my chair. I'm actually going to be channeling my vomit. So, um,
Are you casting a new spell?
I'm essentially mechanically yes.
Okay.
Like roleplay wise, I'm just continuously vomiting.
Are you now channeling? Are you going to cast web now?
No, I'm going to cast drown again.
Okay.
I think his idea is to just cast drown every turn and like
Uh,
keep that going as a
okay.
perpetual vomit.
Yeah,
Then,
that's exactly what I'm doing.
all right. So
Do you have to cast around on yourself though?
say that
I'm
again.
kind of abusing the mechanic. I'm abusing the
Bending the
flavor.
rules.
I'm
Yeah.
abusing the flavor of the
Yeah,
rules
I gathered that.
instead of the mechanics of it.
Perfectly fine. So I'll go ahead and make me that
Would
roll
it
real
be
quickly, and
funnier
then we'll
though?
launch into combat.
Okay, there we go. All right, I am under,
All right. So
and
unknowns.
I'm going to push my luck again. Oh, thank goodness. Haha. So God, 7 gallons, my friend.
All right. So you again channel the depths of the primordial swamps, and you just make a straight conduit. Your body is a pipe from his blessed swamps into this, and the cholera excreta demons are flailing in the gout of your swampy fury and are piteously trying to swim against it. Their struggle gives Xenoc the drop. So Xenoc, you have your giant chaos maul ready. So there is one that you could definitely swing and crush with your hammer.
Let's do it.
All right.
So
So
the combat is one thing that I'm going to need a little help with because my heavy maul is an advanced skill, and it says something about like rank plus skill equals total 11. So, uh,
so
is that like the rank of the advanced skill?
yeah, so I can
Oh,
pull.
I get it.
Yeah, so that if it's a total of 11, because that was your advanced skill plus
Mhm.
your skill together, so you're using that score and you're adding it to 2d6, and you're wanting it to be higher than whatever this bacteria demon rolls. So
Okay,
it is a
so
roll
it's 11
versus.
plus 2d6. So give me 1 second. Boop, 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 boop. That's a 4 and a 4. So that's 8. Plus 11 is 19
All
for
right.
my.
So you are able to get a resounding blow on one of it as it is just being completely covered in swamp water. Roll me damage. So that's again 1d6
Hell yeah, that
compared.
table. Yeah.
And
Oh,
at any point during combat, you roll double sixes. That is a crit. So I do remember that.
First one's a 5, and the second one is a. Wait, is it 2D for the
It's
damage? I
1d6,
thought it.
and you're comparing it to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, to
Yeah.
the table. Got ya.
So I
Okay,
can actually
so
pull it up. So
got
if
it.
you tell
It's
me what
4, and I think that is
6 points of damage.
yeah.
So you bring your maul down with Yom's sacred name on your lips, and you smash into this fetid thing. And it ruptures like a rotten tomato, and its flagella just gives a quick couple of jerks before it goes completely straight out, and it falls down to the ground. The other two things squirm harder as that creature, its companion, dies a squirmy death. Next in initiative, one of those things flies up and directly towards you, Xenoc. It turns its flagella, trying to ensnare you in it. So go ahead. You can either make me a skill roll for defense, or your best bet is going to be making another maul attack like you just did.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it with the maul.
All right. Go ahead and make your roll.
So that's 6, and please be a 6. Nope, that's a 1. So 7 was my 2d6 total.
Plus your advanced skill?
No.
Plus your maul fighting? You have to give me both
maul
together.
Fighting. Yeah, sorry. So that's 7
fine.
plus 11 is 18.
All right. So it lashes out at you, but you just had a kill, and it starts to fill you with that blood rage that just gives you that wonderful tickling feeling. So yeah, you are able to move out of the way, and you get a retaliation strike against it. So you actually roll me 1d6 for damage.
Hell yes. And that's going to be a 6.
So you rolled a 6, or you're doing 6 points of damage?
I rolled a 6, so I need to consult the table.
Was that damage as mace or as maul?
Maul.
That's
maul.
13 points of damage, my brother.
Yes.
So Yom smiles at your bloodlust, and you absolutely burst this thing. The other one was like a rotten tomato. This one is like a rancid bratwurst, and it's tasting ruptures, spraying horrible bacterial juice everywhere. It splatters all across Shunk's face, and he just vomits an extra gallon of swamp water in response. You can see like leeches are like dangling from his lips.
I give a thumbs up around my vomiting.
Too bad you don't have your camera working, because I would just love to see your like. So next in the token stack is the other creature, having no sense of self-preservation. It launches itself at you again, Xenoc, because you are righteous fury.
The maul is hot, so I'm gonna maul him again.
Maul. I have a feeling you're gonna beat this one. It rolled pretty poorly.
Okay, so that's a 6 and a 3
you
for
rolled
9 plus 11 is 20.
Yes, you hit it. So roll me
then the
again your
damage.
ball damage.
5 is what I got. So on the table, that is 12 points.
12 points. So you also splatter it. And Tony has the wonderful suggestion that Shump, as you are there, mouth open as things are splattering, you can choose to test your luck or not, or get a little bit of this
I swallow
color of the light.
Oh, actually, like I say, I swallow it, but there's 7 gallons of fucking water shooting out of my mouth. Nothing that gets near my mouth is going in.
Yeah, but it could still go in your nose.
You know what? I am a horrible swamp nude priest. I'm okay with it.
Since the creature dies, it loses its ability that it would really inflict on you had it been alive. But for the rest of the day, you're just going to have the runs. So you'll just have that constant trickle just running all the time. So you have dispatched these excreted demons, and with their decaying, bubbling corpses and the swamp water channeled into the hole, you have definitely given your swamp gods a little foothold into this place.
You bet your
You
ass we did.
feel a little bit more of that divine feeling of hatred and retribution in the back of your brain stem in response to your defilement. But you get that little glee as you get a little bit of that connection with your god again.
Yeah, the
So,
wrath of other gods is just like mana
Flavor.
from heaven to Yom. Yeah.
basically, Reginald, you watched your companions vomiting and smashing rotten sausages as you were just delicately sipping your rhino beer from afar. Jolly good sport, gents.
I think we probably
Smashing,
because of our
yes.
personalities, we probably we started off paying Reginald, and Reginald halfway was like, these guys they pay me to protect them, but they leap face first into anything that comes our way, and I think they just like to hang out with me.
It could be.
Maybe
It
the real
also-
treasure was the friends we made
Maybe
along
it's-
the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably
That's
when
right.
you leave, like right there on the edge of the forest, are going to be all your zombie friends. Super excited to see you again.
Yay! Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
fans.
there doesn't seem to be anything worthwhile in the hole itself. Now that those creatures have been, splattered. So again, as description in this entrance hall, you have that M4 that is progressively glowing in the corner. You have a pile of rubble that there was something odd about it. This giant fallen over support pillar that held up the ceiling at one point, and in the back there's still a staircase that descends deeper into this place.
I think I want to look at the rubble. There we go.
Do you want to look at it or do you want to look under it?
I want to go over to it.
Because
And I'm
I
a
have
newt.
shatter as a spell.
Yeah, but what if there's some innocent zombie under there?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Do the torches work yet, or
Are
it's
you
still
trying
out?
to light your lantern again?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
If we're gonna be
Yeah.
investigating, yeah, I'm gonna give it a flick.
You like keep trying your flint.
Yeah.
It's not catching.
I'm
It's
assuming
weird
at this
because,
point.
like, you're basically just putting sparks straight into pure oil and nothing is happening.
I did flood it. Okay, cool. I drink another beer.
It is delicious and it reminds you of better times.
Good.
If you
What-
guys are familiar with the alchemical theory of the humors, I believe that this place has been overcome by a phlegmatic curse. So everything's dark, kind of sluggish, slimy, slow, shitty. Yeah, I'm starting to get the vibe here, and it's not an entirely unwelcoming vibe, frankly.
I'm liking this approach. It's a very good interpretation. You'll have to read this module afterwards and give me your thoughts. But I think there's a section.
While other stuff was happening, I went on Kickstarter and backed it. It is only
Other people should too. Yeah, it's
It
right
is
there
only
on a
12
tweet.
euros for the hardback edition of this module.
That's
Well,
actually a
damn.
really good price.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
it is, I will
120
say,
for everything Troika has put out.
it is a smaller adventure than some of the others, but it makes up for it with extremely rich lore that you can then use in your campaigning, especially if you're like doing something like BX, OSE. You could really use that world building in a very interesting way. But you go towards the pile of rubble and you swear, and again, in this very dim light, that there might be some figures slowly moving in it, or maybe it's just shadows, but you swear they look like figures slowly playing a game of dice.
it's us. We're trapped under there.
Is it gambling? Do I recognize the game?
Do you go up to get a good look?
I mean, I've got gambling as a thing.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I would definitely,
So-
if I'm allowed to.
Yeah. No, it's just like, if you.
In fact, that would give me a second to step away for just 1 second. So, Pashki,
So as you
you do
approach
your thing.
Reginald, you
Hi.
see that these figures are gnomies in Phrygian caps. They're half turned to stone, and they're deeply involved in a complicated dice game of some kind. They don't seem to notice your approach despite your very heavy rhino footfalls. They're very concentrated on very slowly rolling dice. You see that there are three of them engaged in gambling, and some of the other figures are actually fully petrified. There seems to be a fat one, a short one, and a tall one. Go ahead and
Okay.
make me a gambling check. So that's 1 plus your skill, and that you're trying to roll 2d6 under that number, equal or under.
There's not a shot in hell that I recognize it. I got two
So
sixes.
that's when you are rolling
Yeah,
by yourself. That's a critical failure.
Yeah.
So it's dark in here, and this is
Yeah.
ancient. You know all the dice games that are common in all the taverns, but this is something you've never seen. And in fact, the dice themselves don't exactly look like any type of dice you've seen. Either you've heard of weird things called Xochi dice or some other heretical name, but this must be that. It's curious. You don't even know what the intent of the game is, other than there seems to be an importance on rolling a certain symbol on the die, but it's very slow and it's very confusing.
All right, so just go up to the little guy. It's like, what you got there, then, friends? Looks like a great little game of dice, huh? Isn't that neat?
They
Care to teach me?
very slowly turn to you, and they address you in this kind of odd, high-pitched and very low, gravelly voice at the same time. They're saying, "It's dice. Don't you know how to play dice?" And
Not this set of dice.
they're very small, like they're the size of your hand, probably. And one of them holds up the die that they're rolling. And when you get a look at it, it looks kind of like a stone head of one of the other figures that's fully turned into stone that they've carved some type of markings into.
Okay, so heads you win. So what I'm
That was an underappreciated joke. There needs to be more laughter. This man is suffering and on drugs, and he is here for our entertainment. You laugh for this man.
I try.
I laughed.
It's okay.
I was on mute, but I was laughing.
All right, so
And I agree with you, Tony, by the way.
How should I even be invested, or if I just like this is gonna take forever? Moving on.
You have a feeling
I think it's good.
Anything involving these very slow, stone-like gnomes is probably going to take a while.
Okay. I look over to see what everyone else is doing, and if I should just awkwardly walk away.
Are you
just be
keeping
like,
the
"All right."
die?
Oh yeah, I do have it. I guess I'll give it a roll and see what they do and react from there.
Roll me luck if you want. So that's 2d6, and you're trying to roll your luck score or under.
Or under. Good, because this is the antithesis to the last roll, where before I had 2 6s, now I have 2 1s.
Well, they're okay. So that's interesting. So you
bonus, isn't it?
So you have some type of affinity with this die, and when you roll it, you get that weird symbol, and you can see it's carved on the side of this stone skull above the ear, and you're not sure what the symbol means, but very slowly but very excitedly, all of the gnomes begin to dance, and they sing, and they pull out of their pockets small stone coins that they very slowly pile at your feet as an offering.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you. These are nice. They're very small. My hands are big and rhino-like.
They're very excited as you try to take the coins. It seems to mean a lot to them.
I put 2 coins back down and be like, hey, thanks for letting me play. Finger
They let you keep
crossbones.
their special die.
Aw.
Okay.
Making
Thanks,
friends
buddies.
left and
That
right.
was-
They
You-
very slowly go over to another one of the
Yeah.
completely petrified stone forms, and you see them starting to like chisel the neck. So in the rest of this
Okay.
room, you have that staircase that is going deeper into this place, and that M4 in the corner that is glowing. We have 30 minutes left in our scheduled time, so think about what you'd like to see or do.
30 minutes.
Yeah, I thought we were at time actually.
No, we have about 20 minutes.
20
Oh, wait,
minutes.
no.
That's what I meant. It's,
Yeah, 20 minutes left. Where's my clock that usually shows me how much time we've been running?
I see it.
don't know.
Is it the clock on the screen here that says 1 hour 45
No,
minutes
that's
26 seconds?
Hope all of
And
you are enjoying
I'm
this
just curious
wonderful
for-
content.
For whoever's
Hey,
in
it's a
the
peek behind
chat,
the
there's the
scenes.
one person that said they were going to be tuning in at 4:30 their time. If that person is in the
Yeah.
room, you're awesome. Otherwise, hopefully you're hearing this on recording and you got a good night's sleep. But you're
Yes.
awesome either
So,
way.
we actually probably should call because we
What?
need to go over some housekeeping, right?
Yeah, we always
Um,
do.
And if we go
Yeah.
into the
It
next
seems like a
room,
natural.
no,
Yeah.
look. Let me say this, Ian, you're the dungeon master.
Yeah.
We want to do this game in this setting, this module justice. We do have some housekeeping we want to
Okay.
go over, but Ian, if we descend those stairs, are we going to be in another encounter that's going to take us to the edge of time and we'll be out? Or should we call it here? We've shown these people 3 and 4 encounters, and shown them kind of a vibe of how to do this game differently, I think.
Oh, well, you know what? You've got a good point there. The next immediate room is just descriptive, but it branches off to the cool rooms. So, the eponymous figure of Metegoros at the beginning of the adventure, you roll to see where her starting location is, and you will not be encountering her by that roll. So this could be a natural place that we can stop and engage in housekeeping, although both of your personal objectives you won't be able to get done in this time span, but it will hopefully encourage you to another day enter into these ruins to figure out what happened in this forlorn and sad place, and who is this Metegoros and what is her tale.
I'm keeping my character sheet from this. I'm keeping my notes. Like I want to come back.
So let me.
Thank you,
quick.
Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those not paying attention, for those of you watching on YouTube, Chris NL, I think, is it Menel? It's NL. Has set the price for the kind of original adventure that this is based on, to free on DriveThruRPG.
Because I saw that when I googled it.
Go into DriveThruRPG, look it up, read it. The Troika book's so good, y'all. So
Really goddamn good. Yeah.
and you can get it for fucking pennies on the dollar using the Spring 50 code right now. Or you could grab it as part of the Kickstarter, which I've linked several times in chat.
So I just put a link to the adventure.
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you, Chris.
Ian. So a few things. First, I'm going to try to get the webcam thing figured out quickly. Basically, I haven't gotten a new one because my work said they were going to provide one. And obviously that has not happened. So first and foremost, those metal bookmarks that I've been crowing about, I have them. They are gorgeous. I sent out the first batch today. They're wonderful. If you go on www.madnessheart.press, check out the Madness Heart Press store. You can find it under merch. They look great. And you should grab your very own metal Madness Heart Press bookmark to put in all of your games, and to keep your place in your rule books for quick reference. Um, Ian and I are hard at work at a new game called Godless League Adventures. The very first prototype of it will be available in about 3 weeks, I think. Um, so that is something to keep an eye on. It will be available on Godless. Um, we just dropped a new, speaking of Godless, we just dropped a new story from Shane McKenzie. The first new Shane McKenzie story in something like 6 or 7 years to be released. It is available on Godless. It is a prequel to Addicted to the Dead. Speaking of which, Madness Heart Press and many of the Mad Hearts will be at the Ghoulish Book Fest in San Antonio, Texas, along with a friend of the cast, Jay Wilburn, Andrew Hilbert, Max Booth III, Lori Michelle, Zach Chapman, just like a whole slew of cool people. Shane McKenzie is the guest of honor, and we will be releasing a brand new book from him at that event. The Numinous Brutality Abridged Rules prototype is available on itch.io. It is name your own price, basically free, but if you want to give me $1, I will gladly use that to pay for art for either it or our next game. If you are looking for the podcast, boy howdy, we are everywhere. You can find us on Twitter at OneOncast or at MHP Games. You can find us on the
NHP
website.
_ games.
Thank you, sir. You can find us at madnessheart.press. You can find us on anywhere you download podcasts if you just want the audio component, or you can find us on YouTube if you want to catch these afterwards. If you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Click the bell, I guess. It just helps our metrics. And if you haven't, go over to Twitch and give us a follow there. It's really helpful. It really helps increase our visibility and helps us get out. We don't spend money on advertising. We don't ask for money from the people we run games. So the only way we can really grow is from word of mouth. Now, if you are looking for me, and goddamn, I'm sure you aren't because you're probably sick of my fucking voice by now, you can find me at Kaiju Poet on Twitter or at my website, kaijupoet.com, where you can find all of my books, links to everything. In fact, I am releasing a new story on Friday called The Crimes and Passions of John Stadberger, issue 4, The Second Fall of the Third Reich.
Yes.
So if you like Nazis being killed, and if you like Texas politicians being fictionally ripped apart by fictional knives in a piece of fiction, FBI, get off my goddamn back. Please check that out. It's only 50 cents. And
it turns out that our entire viewer stream are just actually FBI bots acting like members of the RPG community.
God. Did you know you can request your FBI file from the FBI? They have to tell you.
I do.
Like,
yeah.
they have to file what.
yeah.
I know that I have one because I accidentally volunteered for an organization that's on the FBI watch list, and I'm like, oh, that means now they've got a file on me.
Oh,
yeah. Don't.
Gosh,
It's
darn
yeah.
it.
I don't even know where to start with me.
Yeah, I'm. It's funny. The FBI actually like asked me if I would hold on to Charles's file just because it was so much. It was so big.
I mean, even the file from my eye doctor is like the size of a phone book. I don't know what the fuck the FBI has got on me.
Anyway, that's where you can find my dumb ass. Charles, how about you?
You can go to the Charles Bernard file annex at the FBI building where they have all 250 volumes of my file, or just go to Twitter at CRBernard. You can go to tinyurl.com/Charles R. Bernard, all lowercase, for the big list of my stuff. I've got a book on Madness Heart Press, A Baptism for the Dead. I've got a duology coming out from Raventail Publishing very soon. More details on that. And Mr. Paschke, actually, you know what, Ian, let's
Oh, he's
have
a
you
Paschke.
do
You invoked the ancient rite of summoning the Paschke. He has been
I did.
summoned.
And in summoning him, I did want to say something, which is thank you, sir, for coming with your broken, horrible body problems and participating and giving
It's a
us
pinched
a bit of
nerve.
rhino flavor, regardless. And he was a fill-in guest, so any of you out there who are watching us, if you want to be a wandering monster too, hit us up because we're always looking for guest players.
Yeah.
And with that said, Mr. Paschke, where
Which-
can the fine folks of the internet find you?
You can find me mostly on Instagram, where I post food or random close-ups of objects. I'm on other things, but I do not interact ever. So it's normally just Mr. Paschke. Yeah, sorry everyone out there in the worldwide interwebs for my medicated brain waves of I have lower back pain right now because I'm getting
You're a
old.
hero, man.
Trying to say too much
I
Rhino
got nothing.
Firkin beer.
That's right.
I mean, I wish it was that instead of whatever 4 bottles I had to open this today to
Well,
make things not. Anyhow, I'm gonna shut up.
Ah,
Ian,
so,
your cute face.
my
Look at you.
obligatory statement that my social development will be better in tune after we finish some of these books. So stay tuned. I will do a nice rebranding here in a little bit. I would like to say, since it looks like Dyson's still in the channel, when our next live play that we do will be Dungeon Plumbers. And
Yes.
that will be streaming on April 6th. And it will feature Dyson maps. So that will be fun.
Yeah, Dyson was kind enough. They were kind enough to send me a copy of Dungeon Plumbers, and it's
No, that's not Dyson. That's Wayne.
Wayne sent me a copy of Dungeon Plumbers.
I bought it. I bought it for you.
Oh,
He gave us a discount because he has some scratch and dent from shipping and stuff like that. But
okay.
yes,
Look,
so
I am pointing significantly at the camera. I'm actually happy to hear that someone bought it. Ian, if I had known, I would have told you no. Let me buy it myself.
I know, but I
because
wanted to
it's
support Wayne since he gave us such a big discount and working with us. So always want to support the creators.
It's really important to support these creators. I mean, it's why we do this show.
Yep.
We do this show
exactly.
specifically so we can help get the word out and help these creators, play test and get feedback and have fun, right? Like that's the whole point. So Dungeon Plumbers is going to be an absolute blast. It looks so fun. Every time I mention it to my wife, she just goes, isn't that just the Mario Brothers? So that's also fun.
Fair. Yeah.
I think we're good. Friends, thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. This is the second time on a live stream I've been able to get away with not showing my face. Unfortunately, this time it wasn't on purpose. Hopefully next week when we are back, you'll see my terrifying visage, and everything will run smoothly. So we will see you then. But until next week, stay safe, but stay scared.